was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA or that I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before.
Buddy, imagine this. A commissioner so drunk on power, a fan base so angry they finally exploded, and 3 players, Caitlyn, Sophie, Lexi, standing together while the entire league collapses around them. Today, the WNBA faces its biggest scandal ever because 200,000 fans have officially announced a boycott for 2026, and the number is climbing so fast that Cathy Engelbert herself walked out of the league office in full panic. Sponsors are calling non-stop. Adam Silver is furious, and the WNBA is seconds away from losing everything. Welcome to the story the league never wanted you to hear. If you're watching this, you're witnessing WNBA history collapse live. Hit like, subscribe, and comment boycott 2026 if you stand with Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi. This all started when the players group chat leaked. Cathy had allegedly warned Caitlin Clark to stop participating in outside events, especially golf, but it didn't end there. She warned Sophie and Lexi too, threatening suspensions, threatening benchings, even floating the word termination.
As for what Engelbert is alleged to have said to Collier, if she actually suggested Caitlin Clark should be grateful for what she makes off the court, that's preposterous. Did you miss the Iowa years? Clark is the Tiger Woods tide that lifts all boats. And we know this show is proof. The highest rating we have ever had followed one of her games at Iowa. The WNBA has benefited from her presence more than the other way around, even though this year for Caitlin Clark was essentially lost to injury.
The players were in shock. Caitlyn asked, "We can't even play golf? We can't even have lives?" The message spread, and for the first time, Caitlin Clark, the biggest star the league ever had, felt cornered. Sophie and Lexi refused to leave her alone. They said, "If they suspend you, we walk too." 3 sisters, 3 teammates, 3 players the fans adore. And Cathy chose the absolute worst moment to start a war. The moment the threat spread online, fans went insane. One fan tweet alone got 1.2 million views. Suspend Caitlyn and we suspend the WNBA. Reddit exploded. Instagram exploded. TikTok exploded. The fans weren't angry. They were done. They remembered fake fouls, targeted hits, Caitlyn benched for protection, threats over golf, warning players for simply existing. And then the nuclear button was pressed. 200,000 fans signed a boycott for 2026. Official, verified, growing by the minute. People didn't just boycott. Families boycotted. Kids boycotted, friends boycotted. The anger wasn't temporary, it was generational. Within hours, the sponsor saw the numbers. They didn't wait, they didn't negotiate. They called Cathy, "If you lose Caitlyn, you lose us." A sponsor rep literally said, "This isn't a league problem, this is a Cathy problem." Suddenly, the league HQ started getting emails.
Then the high tide lifts all boats or whatever. Basically, like, if you buy into this, everybody is going to eat. Yet you had people fighting tooth and nail the entire season, not wanting it to be this way because other people weren't getting flowers, or she was getting too much attention, or she gets a special whistle, or I'm gonna check her off the ball here just because. And then her teammate cheers for her for throwing her on the ground. It didn't get better. And it's disappointing to me because it's not every player in the WNBA. And I'm sure that there are many players who are happy to have her in the league. And it's like, if it was my league and somebody was coming in and bringing millions of people, like, I would be excited about that because you know what? That's a chance for me to impress millions of people who weren't watching before. And there's a lot of women in this league who don't have that kind of envy and jealousy and this kind of like secret club mentality that they only want certain people to be a part.
Then more, then hundreds, companies pulling money, companies freezing money, companies threatening to walk forever. The WNBA realized this wasn't a scandal. This wasn't a controversy. This was a financial heart attack. Cathy's decisions were killing the league in real time. When the number reached 210,000 boycotts, Adam Silver snapped. He walked into the office, slammed a binder on the table, and said, "Fix this or step down." The room went silent. Cathy froze. Her face went white. He asked her, "Why are you threatening players for living their lives? Why are you targeting Caitlyn? Why are you warning her teammates?" She mumbled excuses. He didn't care. He told her directly, "You're not stopping golf. You're not suspending anyone. You're not firing anyone." Then, and this is where the story turns insane, the assistant commissioner whispered something to Silver. He stood up, shook his head, and walked out. No meeting, no discussion, just pure legendary frustration. Inside Fever HQ, the players' phones were buzzing like crazy. 200K boycotts, 220K, 235K, 250K. Caitlyn stared at the screen. Sophie grabbed her hand. Lexi hugged both of them. Caitlyn whispered, "They're doing this for us." Sophie said, "Then we stay strong." Lexi said, "Together." At the same time, the WNBA office was in meltdown. Employees crying, phones ringing non-stop, emails exploding, sponsors frozen, executives hiding in their offices, and Kathy, she was shaking. She had no plan, no support, no backup. She realized the truth. You can't fight your fans. You can't threaten your stars. You can't control people. And the fans finally took their league back. By the end of the day, the boycott estimate passed 1 million when including families. Kathy's chair was empty, her office door locked. She refused to speak. The league lost. Sponsors, credibility, fans, money, stability.
It would be holding the players back from saying, yes, we agreed to an extension. Let's try to iron out this deal so there is no lockout. Right? They'll still be able to negotiate if there's a lockout. However, players won't be able to head to the facility. They won't be able to get treatment. They won't be able to train with the team, with the staff. So there is some things to lose if there is a lockout. Sources: WNBA offers players extension on CBA deadline. The WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. An extension before the current CBA expires Friday would allow both sides more time to negotiate a new deal.
That question, which raises some sensitivities of rivalries between players. In the case of Angel Reese, who's just had to shut it down because of a wrist injury, Caitlin Clark, who's continuing to play. Rivalry that goes back to their college days, presumably, where I guess some trash talking entered in. But now it seems on some social media channels to have taken a darker turn, a more menacing turn, where race has been introduced into the conversation, where sexuality is sometimes introduced into the conversation. How do you try and stay ahead of that, try and tamp it down, or act as a league when two of your most visible players are involved, not personally, it would seem, but their fan bases are involved?
Control. All because she threatened Caitlyn, Sophie, Lexi, the three she should have protected. The WNBA didn't just lose players today. It lost trust. And trust is everything. If you believe the fans were right, comment boycott 2026 until justice. If you stand with Caitlyn, Sophie, and Lexi, hit like and subscribe because this scandal is far from over.